Hi everyone, it's Dr. Mike Reid from Chiropractic Masters International. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Stu Hoffman for inviting me on this webinar from ChiroSecure. It's very nice of him to do so. And they've really asked me to come out and share with you my wisdom in the years I've been in practice and coaching on how to build a seven-figure practice. Now, I say that with tongue in cheek because I firmly believe that each and every one of you have the ability and the potential to serve more people, have more freedom in practice, earn a greater income, and of course, have more joy in life. And I want to share with you a very simple formula that I use for my clients. And the formula that I want to share is used in countries around the world, from Sweden, Italy, the United Kingdom, Canada, the US, Australia, Malaysia. It doesn't matter where you practice. It doesn't matter if you're cash-based or if you use some insurance or all insurance. There is a formula for growth. And if you have a pen and paper, you can write this down. I want you to create a quadrant with four sides, just a square. And this is what I call the 4-quadrant growth formula. And that very first one is your new patient machine. Now, I believe in what we call the Parthenon effect, which means instead of just relying on referrals, which a lot of us get in our practice, there are multiple keys that you can use, such as internal, external, social media. And I've discovered that the more of these different techniques that you can actually master, the more new patients you're going to get into your practice. For example, you could be using things like Facebook, and Facebook is very effective for advertising events, testimonials, recipes, exercise tips in your practice. And if you tie that in with a call to action at the very end, those are very savvy techniques to get people to want to come into your practice. You can do simple things inside your practice, like a family gift certificate or health passes. And it's not only having these, but it's taking the action steps to actually implement these in your practice. Externally, many of you know about the screenings and outside talks, but there's a lot of other things you can do as well that are going to allow you to draw in as many new patients as possible. Now, that is the first quadrant. So, every year I run a workshop that you can always come to and learn the new patient attraction machines. But the second component of this is what we call a conversion and education. And the one thing I've discovered is that most doctors do not do what we call the doctor's report. The average person that comes into your practice has this perception that chiropractic is about a few adjustments and low back pain. And yet you and I would never allow ourselves or our family members to get adjusted 3 or 4 times in their lifetime. As a matter of fact, the international average around the world is about a PVA of 10, which means the average person is going to see their chiropractor for 10 visits. So one thing that we discovered is from day 1 examination, we build in a day 2 doctor's report. And I make it an absolute double yellow that person must come to the doctor's report. And when they're at the doctor's report, the little light's going to go on. They're going to get the big idea about what chiropractic is, what the potential is, what innate intelligence is, what a subluxation is, and chronicity of their issues, which means that the solution is going to take longer than 10 or 12 adjustments. Now, this is most effective if you use a corrective technique like a CBP or a PSC or a Pedimon, and if you have objective criteria to measure your patients. This is why I love doing pre-post x-rays and or CLA substation, which allows me to look at neurological integrity changes. The third component, where a lot of doctors fall a little shy of, is retention tools. And this includes progress and comparative exams, where you can actually create anticipation and excitation with your patients because they're going to be looking forward to the next update exam, looking for objective changes. Remember, things like posture, range of motion, leg length, weight distribution, all of those disappear very quickly. So what have you really got left? Well, you've got to have something you can measure objectively. And I really don't care what objective measurements you have, but for me, what works best is neurological integrity and x-ray. Now, we also do something called a monthly Transform Discovery Workshop. So what I get to do is I get to dip my patients every month in a workshop that's part of their care. And we'll educate about wellness, about chiropractic, about the big idea, about staying healthy. And this is critical because this really helps change their mindset and their paradigm of what health is, when most people are going to go home and watch TV and get deluged with all those pharmaceutical commercials. Now, the last component, the fourth component of this quadrant is something that we call the wellness or the upsell. And what I mean by that is this is the ability to then reassess your patients and then put them on to true wellness care. Now, this is probably the biggest faux pas in most practices where doctors are not using wellness care at the back end. But we'll re-examine our patients, put them in a quick 10-minute report called an anniversary report. And then what we're going to do is introduce them to subjective, objective changes and wellness care plans. And we have a 95% conversion onto that next year's care plan. Now, this runs very flawless. We've been doing this for about 25 years. The whole system is down to a science. And this is where, for the doctors who are out there that are struggling in practice, this is a very, very easy system to use. Now, we highly recommend that you get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody that's going to be able to teach you these sorts of systems. For the doctors that say, hey, Dr. Mike, I'd love to learn more. What I've done is I've put my entire library onto a membership site where you can get it for $47 a month. That's a real no-brainer because we have 17 years of 3 libraries condensed into one, 6 categories, $47 a month is cost of one adjustment. And that's really my gift to the profession because we want you guys to be successful. My mission is really to help 10,000 chiropractic practices double in the next 5 years. And the best way I know how to do it is instead of coaching one-on-one, is to put it out there in what we call the jetpack system. It's really my CMI library. You have access to it. You go home and train on your own at your leisure, your time, and it's a real no-brainer. I've had so many accolades from doctors around the world for using that system. So these are 4 key areas that you can actually use in your practice. And one of the things that we also recommend is on my website, I've actually got a lot of gifts that I just give to the profession. So if you go to chiropractic-masters.com, there's multiple gifts that you can actually tap into. My marketing calendar, you'll actually see that behind me from my right shoulder. That is a calendar that I create every year, and I put all my tools on there that work in our practices, and you can actually go download it, print it out, put it on your wall, and just follow it. It's got social media on it. It's got a lot of marketing tools. And there's a lot of other freebies on there. If you're learning new student and you're learning how to do a screening, or if you're, a senior practitioner, you want to learn how to do screenings, my screening protocol is there. And there's a few other gifts as well. And for those doctors out there that would really like to get more information on what we do, my best recommendation would be to go to our website at chiropractic-masters.com. Not only do we have the freebies there, there's products, there's seminars, a lot of things to help build your practice with or without me. There is one-on-one coaching. And, we're here to really help you realize your potential. But, one thing I always say to the doctors I meet is have a vision, know where you want to go with your life and your practice. Get hungry. This is one thing that I discovered is that you've got to be hungry to want to grow more, both personally in your practice. And then take the action steps, massive action steps, in order to fall forward fast. I think when you can combine all of those into a formula that works, growth is flawless, and you can build the practice of your dreams. So that being said, I want to thank you for listening to me on this elevator pitch with ChiroSecure, and I want to thank Dr. Stu Hoffman and Dr. Alan Weinstein for inviting me on this call today and sharing my innate wisdom with all of you in the chiropractic profession.
This has been a ChiroSecure production.